Well, hey everybody. Hi, this is Pastor Ken Rush. Just stopped in to check in with you for a few minutes. Hope that your faith is strong in this season. We walk by faith and not by sight. It's difficult to walk by sight because we don't know exactly what's up the road for us, but our faith will get us through. Remember, the book of Proverbs reminded us to trust in the Lord with all of our heart, lean not into our own understanding. It's difficult to understand exactly what's going on. In all of our ways, we're supposed to acknowledge God, and He will direct our path. Everybody at the Healing Place Church is praying for you, all of our staff, as well as me, Pastor Ken Rush. I want to let you know concerning our church services this week. We will have church. They will be via the internet. You can check in on us on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. On my particular YouTube channel, People Proof by Ken Rush, there's a message. There will be a message there that I believe will encourage you and give insight and clarity concerning all that we're going through. Again, I want you to know that we're praying for you. And you can look forward to interacting with us and worshiping with us on Facebook as well as YouTube. This upcoming week, we'll have more information out there for you. We don't know exactly what's coming down the pipe over the next few days. We all hear information, and we're combing the internet and all of that to get information about what our fate is going to be going into the next few weeks. We didn't have church last Sunday following the CDC recommendations, and it looks like, based upon the information that our government officials are giving us, it's going to be very difficult for us all to assemble in person this week. And so you can look forward to being in connection with us over the web and via online, and we'll have a word from the Lord for you that's going to bless you. I want to change gears here, and I want to ask you, we're all asking the question, what are they going to do? And the decisions are being made about our lives that are above our heads. Our government officials are making decisions about how we're going to be able to move, our movement going to be restricted. So I don't have the answer to what they're going to do, but I do have a question for you. What are you going to do? It's quite feasible that we're all going to be shut down. If we look at the models in China and Italy, that they're going to ask us to stay at home and mandate that for a season. And I wanted to talk with you about what you're going to do with this time. Are you going to sit around and lament the time? I think the Bible's challenge to us is to redeem the time, to make good of the time. And so I wanted to ask you, what are you going to do with the time? Are you setting any goals for yourself? Do you have an agenda for yourself? You know, it's going to be out of our hands. And some of us are going to go through this season, and others of us are going to grow through this season. I want to challenge you to grow through this season. I want to share with you some of the things that I'm going to be doing. I can't sit back and just let time pass. And my wife and I are we're empty nesters, and so we're going to kind of have a love nest for the next couple of weeks, and we're going to enjoy one another. But in addition to that, I'm challenging myself. God blessed me to write an amazing book called People Proof, and it's doing quite well. And I'm going to challenge myself and get out there, and I'd already started my second book, and I'm going to put in a lot of work on my second book, and hopefully you'll be able to get my second book this fall before Christmas. But not only that, one of the things I'm going to be doing, I want to share this with you. I'm going to be reading a whole lot over this time, in a couple of particular areas that God has put on my heart. Is I want to ask you the question, if you were to fill in this blank, when this is over, not if, but when, because we're going to get through it. When this is over, I'm going to be better at blank. When this is over, I'm going to be more proficient at blank. And you have to fill in the blanks, but you got to challenge yourself to be better at something. One of the things I'm going to be better at is leadership. And so I'm sitting in front of my bookshelf. This is my area in the house. My wife kind of gives me to do my thing, and got a lot of books. I probably have 1,000 books or so. I'm telling you, my bookshelves, 2 or 3 bookshelves at home and at church. Over my right shoulder, this is my Tony Evans and Miles Monroe section. If your name's not Tony Evans or Miles Monroe, you don't get on that shelf. And then I got a lot of Maxwell, a lot of Jakes, and all the people who inspire me. But one of the things I'm going to be doing is reading a lot of books on leadership. Andy Stanley has a good one on next generation leaders. Some of these I've already read. I'm a huge reader. I was talking to Pastor Jeffrey Johnson. He says, don't believe people don't read anymore. And I don't believe that. I believe that people do read. Here's what I do know, that if reading is fundamental, then not reading is detrimental. That you have to read. That's how we grow. And so I believe that people still read. That's why I wrote a book, and people are proving me right, because a lot of people are reading my book. Rising to the Call of Leadership by Lawson is one of the other books that I'm going to reference. I'm going to read these books while we're on this hiatus or break or whatever. The Making of a Leader by Clinton. I'm going to enhance my leadership again. Some of these I've read, and I have, this is my leadership shelf back here. I have an array of books on leadership, and Be the Leader You Want to Be, Biblical Principles of Leadership. I'm just going to sharpen my leadership. My goal is to be a better leader when I come through this, and to practice leadership in a situation where I pastor people that I can't touch physically. Is challenging my leadership. What's challenging your leadership? I bet your family needs you to lead. Your relationship requires some leadership from you, and there's somebody out there in this circumstance that needs your leadership. That's one of the areas I'm going to get better. And so when this is over, I'll be a better leader. And I was thinking last night when I was in the bed, it's about 11 o'clock, what do leaders do? And one of the things that popped into my spirit was leaders check on their neighbors. And so about 11 o'clock last night, my wife and I were in the bed, and we shot off a text to our next door neighbor just to check on her and see was she okay. And she was so delighted to get our text. And she's just delighted that we were thinking about her. I think leaders think about other people. And so one of the things that we all must do while we're going through this season is check in on our neighbors and make sure that people are all right. I bet God has blessed you with enough to share, whether it's love, a little, some food, or whatever you have. We have to look out for each other. So I'm going to be better at leadership, and I'm going to do a lot of reading while we're going through this scenario. I don't know what they are going to do, be it our government officials, but I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to grow through this season. I'm going to read my second favorite book, which is the African American Book of Values. Now, this is like a treasure. I made a mistake and let somebody use one of these one time. They liked it more than I did. I never got it back, so I brought another one. This is probably the only book in my 1,000-book volume library that you could not get. Like, no, I won't let this one get out anymore. But this is a plethora of African Americans throughout history who have contributed to this book with issues on self-discipline, courage, honesty, self-esteem, work, tenacity. Jordan Hurston's in here. A who's who of anybody that's probably African Americans ever contributed. Mary Bethune McLeod Bethune is in this book on faith, creativity, family, community, love, compassion, just anything that talks about the African American life and lifestyle is in this book, A Bus to Freedom by Rosa Parks. And so I'm going to read this book. This is kind of my go-to. My own book, People Proof, The 7 People You Need to Secure and Sustain Destiny. I woke up yesterday and they said, or today, was Tom Brady had signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and ended a 20-year relationship with the New England Patriots. And I was like, if you read my book, you would understand why that made sense, because relationships run their course, and he's looking to have a new start in Tampa Bay. You should get my book, People Proof, The 7 People You Need to Secure and Sustain Destiny. I'll read an excerpt from it for you. We have to be, this is chapter 5 of People Proof. We have to be more attracted to purpose than people. Our purpose will never fail us. We cannot say that about people. In fact, most of us have been hurt or wounded by people. Even people with pure intentions who try to treat us well or who want to treat us well have the potential to hurt us. This is no surprise because we too have been guilty of hurting others intentionally and unintentionally. Perhaps our biggest issues, people issues, are understanding, acknowledging, and respecting that we all have people baggage. These are both positive and negative people experiences. This is what I call people pain. This is just a little bit of chapter 5 of People Proof. You got to get this book. If your goal was to say, when this is over, I'm going to more successfully navigate people, this book would help you do that. I encourage you to get that book. You can find it on my website, peopleproof7.com. I'm going to end this by saying another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be more adept to handling transformation and change. This is a book I'm going to reference by Chris Meyer, The Power to Transform. In this season, I know God wants me to be better and to reinvent myself. And that's what I'm committed to doing. And I'm going to take this downtime I'm going to relax a little bit. I'm not going to watch a whole lot of TV. I'm going to read a lot, and I'm going to write a lot. I'm going to end it like this. Leading Change in Your World. This is one of my favorite books. I not only write, but I read. I'm a devoted, committed reader. Again, the lack of reading, if reading is fundamental, then not reading is detrimental. I want to read this to you because I think this might help you, and we're going to finish up on this. The constancy of change. And every dimension of life, people are confronted with change. And that's what you and I are about to go through. We're probably not going to be quite the same when we get through this, and that's going to be okay as long as we're prepared to deal with the changes. Watch this, The Constancy of Change. This is by Smith and Lindsay. In every dimension of your life, you will be confronted with change. Change punctuates the natural world. Sunrise follows sunset. Night supplants day. One season replaces another. In the personal realm, change is evident in such cycles as birth and death, abundance and need, joy and sorrow, success and failure. While some people fixate on change's negative aspects, most readily agree that change is instrumental in bringing growth and improvement. You can grow through change. However, if there is a particular aspect of change that alarms people today, it is the speed at which change takes place. In the last century, we moved from an industry-based society to a technology-based society, where it took 2 or 3 decades for major organization and cultural change to take place within the industrial framework. It now takes only 2 or 3 years for major change to occur within technological parameters. Many experts claim that information is doubling every 17 or 36 months, intensifying this phenomenon of accelerated change. It is a fact of life. And so we and I have to decide that we're going to grow through the change. I want to pray for you today that this is a season of change. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't have a crystal ball. God hasn't told me everything that's coming. But I do know that you can take control of what you're going to do. And that's a way to take back some of the control and take the reins back into your life. I don't know what they're going to say about the next few weeks, but I do know that you have a say on what you're going to do with the next few weeks. I encourage you to read. I encourage you to write. I encourage you to grow. I encourage you to take in information so that you can answer the question, when this is over, I'm going to be better at blank. For me, it's leadership and change and transition management. I'm going to be a better leader when this is over, and I will have gone a long way, whatever 2 weeks will allow me, in writing my next book. Get my book, People Proof. It's going to bless you. So I want to stop right there, and I want to say to you that if you're struggling with this season, I invite you to visit my Facebook, my YouTube channel, People Proof by Ken Rush. There's a message on there entitled The Multi-Dimensional God. I think it will bless you. So I invite you to check that out. The Multi-Dimensional God. It'll go a long way in helping you to kind of navigate this terrain that we're in. It'll let you know that God is still in control. In fact, I want to end right there. One of the first songs that I learned when I was a child, I think being an adult and a pastor and a husband and a father, it probably is the most fundamental song that makes sense to me today. And it's simply, He's got the whole world in His hands. He's got the whole wide world in His hands. That we don't have to worry. God has the whole world in His hands. And that includes you and me, brother. That includes you and me, sister. I'll see you this weekend on one of our live feeds on Facebook and YouTube. There'll be messages out there on my YouTube channel, People Proof by Ken Rush. I invite you to go there. There's a message there already entitled The Multidimensional God, and it'll talk about some of the reasons why we're in this season. I encourage you to do that. God bless you. I love you, and I'm praying for you. Let's just pray. God, thank you for this time of sharing with my brothers and sisters. And I pray, God, that you will just give us a sense of peace that surpasses all understanding and all that we're going through. God, we don't know all that our government officials will mandate for us in the upcoming days and weeks. Yet, God, there's a way for us to take control. God, I pray that we're able to get a hold of information and set goals, that we will not just go through this season, but God, as you have commanded, we will grow through this season. I pray peace in the hearts and minds of all my brothers and sisters. In your name we pray. Thank you for being a multi-dimensional God and a very present help in the time of trouble. Well, God bless you, brothers and sisters. I'll talk to you soon. We're praying for you at the Healing Place Church, and it is well. Peace.